Okay, I've just watched episode 7 of The Rings of Power. Look, I was ready for this episode to be a bit slower because episode 6 ended on such a bang, but I'm pretty disappointed by the lack of things that actually happened in this episode. I think that the aftermath of the Southlands is pretty gripping. It now feels that there's a real presence of shadow and darkness, literally with the creation of Mordor, and you can tell that the characters now are taking this a lot more seriously as well. They walk through the aftermath of the Southlands, there's ash all over their face, they're wandering around like lost souls. The scenes with Galadriel and Theo wandering out of the forest in the Southlands was okay. I was just waiting for an orc ambush. It was really just them walking through the burnt out trees. Not really much to report here, nothing really happened. The scenes with Queen Muriel and Elendil were fairly similar. Knowing that Queen Muriel is blind, I think that's quite a interesting angle they've taken. It shows that, even though pretty much everyone survived this attack, not everyone's come out unscathed. I wouldn't have minded if maybe someone died. I'm glad that the Númenóreans are taking the threat of this shadow and darkness a bit more seriously. However, at the same time, the way they slowly walk out of the forest, I understand that a lot of them are injured. It just doesn't feel like that urgency is there. I mean, I feel like there'd be orcs prowling. This moment of the creation of Mordor just felt a bit like, okay, let's just get to the edge of the forest and everything will be okay. I mean, I'm pretty sure Mordor is a massive place, so wouldn't have minded a bit more of a chase scene. Elrond and Durin's storyline, I just feel like this is just going nowhere. They've gone back to Moria to convince the king to help them mine the Mithril. Hasn't gone to plan. They've started mining the Mithril and Elrond has been kicked out of the mine, and I guess Durin has been exiled or something, or his princely rights have been taken away. I don't know what the significance of the chin neck strap is. We haven't been explained that. I guess we're just meant to care that, oh no, his golden chain thing has been stripped of him. I think the characters are great. I like Durin, I like Princess Disa, the king's awesome. The actors do a really good job, but nothing's going on. And again, it's just similar to Númenor previously. It's just one step forwards, 2 steps back. I'm not that engaged in this Mithril storyline because it's frustrating that the whole thing stopping them is this stubborn king. I understand his reasoning, but for this to stop this storyline from progressing is a little bit frustrating. I hope that maybe Elrond and Durin are going to go off on some adventure and do something interesting instead of just wandering around the mine. I think there's this weird thing where we're spending too much time in certain places. Like we've spent way too much time in Númenor, we've spent too much time in the mines of Moria. They've lost their charm. They're just places that I now associate with being slow and uneventful. We jump back into Norrie's and the Strangers storyline. I'm still enjoying this, and I'm glad that we got to see more of these mysterious hooded characters. It's clear that I guess they're looking for the stranger. Maybe they want to train him, they want to teach him ways, or maybe they want to get him to embrace the darkness. It's quite clear that they are evil in the way that they just spontaneously combusted the apples. I'm guessing no Halfwoods died and they were just crying over their apples. It's cool now to see Norrie, Poppy, Marigold and Sadok going off on an adventure. However, at the same time, I kind of wish this happened maybe 2 episodes ago. This has just taken too long. We've seen a whole season of this and it's been a lot of underwhelming world building that we've understood in the first 4 episodes. A lot of the scenes that we've seen with this mysterious character who has the 2 followers wearing all white, we've pretty much seen all of those scenes in the trailer when they blow and the leaf ignites, or when they go to the place where the stranger landed. We've seen all this stuff, so we're not seeing anything new. The more I think about it, the more it really annoys me. It really points out that in the trailer, they kind of just threw in, I guess, all the epic and interesting moments that we've already seen a few times. So that's been another underwhelming thing. The last thing I'll say is we saw Adar and his orc followers and human followers milling about the south, or what used to be the Southland village. And they ask, what do you want to name this place? We all know what it's going to be called. And then we see this pretty cool wide shot of Mount Doom in the background. And I was expecting Adar to go Mordor and name the place, but instead we see this bizarre super appear on the screen, which I don't think we've ever seen text on screen like that in this series. Correct me if I'm wrong though, that changes into Mordor. It just felt like someone in the post-production phase had been like, oh, this is really not clear to some of our viewers. We need to make it really obvious. Okay, sure, maybe you should have written that in the script and gotten someone to say it. But also, if you're worried about people not knowing that it's Mordor, you don't need to put that on the screen. Sure, maybe there are some new viewers to this show. That's awesome. If that's the case, then putting the word mortar on screen doesn't mean anything either. So that's not significant to them. It's just a really weird choice. And it's just another reason why I'm getting more and more concerned about this show. I'm gonna go into my spoiler predictions. So if you want to jump out of the video, I suggest you do so now. All right, so towards the end of the episode, we fly down through the Mithril caves belonging to the mines of Moria. The leaf lands, it burns, and we see a Balrog. I think this Balrog is Durin's Bane. So his name is Durin's Bane because he kills Prince Durin. He is the Balrog that appears in the mines of Moria in the Fellowship of the Ring. This is another scene we've already seen in the trailers. So this Balrog is, again, just not that exciting. We've already seen it. Don't show as much in the trailers, or at least if you're going to, show us more stuff in the episodes. Anyway, that's it. I'm already hoping that season 2 is going to correct a lot of this pacing and urgency and just weird choices the writers have made. Anyway, I guess we've got to see what happens there. I'll catch you next week.